Welcome. Domain Dave from cheapwinefinder.com. Another companion podcast for a review we wrote up on the cheapwinefinder.com website of, Trader Joe's wine. So what's new? Actually, nothing's new at Trader Joe's. They're stagnant, which is most places are. It's not just them. But what we have today is the Trader Joe's Petit Reserve Barossa Australia Shiraz 2020. Barossa Valley Shiraz and Shiraz in general about a decade ago was all the rage. And every winemaker tried to outdo each other. I mean, they were crazy wines in there. A lot of them, most of them were inexpensive and affordable, and they would just try to push the envelope as much as they could, and then the bubble burst, and they haven't been, on anybody's radar, or at least not too many people's radar, for the last, few years. So it's kind of nice to see a Barossa Valley Shiraz. And Barossa Valley is in a bay in South Australia, off a bay. It's kind of inland. There's some mountains to the east of it. It's in a valley. There's foothills around there. It's warm, very warm area. And it is maybe the premier place to grow Shiraz. There are the Grange, for example, is it's a blend, but mostly Shiraz that can be aged for decades. I mean, the very best vineyards, very much wineries in this area can go toe-to-toe with pretty much any wine region in the world. And then they have the affordable wines like they always did. I'm going to take a sip of this one. That's good. It's if you like California Zinfandel, this will appeal to you. I mean, it's got the same aesthetic. It is not a Mad Dog, over-the-top wine like they were in the Australian Shiraz were 10 years ago. It is much more smooth and sleek with some, it's Shiraz. It's going to be some spice, and there's going to be some rich flavors and what have you, but it doesn't go overboard. It's 14.6 in the alcohol, which is nothing new anymore. So this, it's not if they were too much for you back in the day, they're not too much anymore. And this has great flavors. Blackberry, cherry, blueberry, some spices, some coffee with cream, strawberry, it's some spice, a couple of different flavors of spice. Yeah, that's a nice little drink. And then it's got good length. The flavors kind of roll off. The tannins don't bite. I'm going to take another sip. Yeah, it really drinks well. There's a sign at my Trader Joe's, and it says this is Petit Reserve blend, or a wine. And it says that these wines should equal in quality a retail wine in the $12 to $15 range. And if you check out the web, look for a inexpensive Barossa Valley Shiraz. That's about $15, right around there. Give it a couple bucks either way. Is exactly what they are. And for $8, it's hard to get a better red wine. Just a single varietal, single AVA, top AVA. It drinks well. And like I said, it's like a Zinfandel. It's going to be some spice. It's going to be some rich flavors, but that's all good. Now we're going to talk a little bit about, there's not that, not much going on at Trader Joe's, but there is something going on with these reserve wines. Take another sip. COVID has caused trouble with wine for a couple of years now. It not only has it messed up the supply chain, restaurants, which used to sell lots of wine, bars, which used to sell lots of wine, didn't sell any wine. So there's kind of a backlog. So when Trader Joe's goes to somebody and wants to buy a $15 wine for this Petit Reserve, which is kind of the bottom end of their reserve wines, they're getting a better selection. Not that there was ever bad before, But it's actually there because there's a backlog, and plus there's a lot of people who need to get rid of wine because they couldn't sell it. It has to go somewhere. There's new vintages coming every year, and the older vintages, well, you can hold on to them for a little bit. Most red wines in the value price range, well, are good for 5 to 7 years if you store it correctly. But you don't make money storing your wines correctly. You make money and sell them to somebody and let them drink it. So these Trader Joe's Reserve, Trader Joe's has brand wines, and they're brands that are only available at Trader Joe's, and they're usually pretty good too. But these Reserve, or just the regular Reserve, the Grand Reserve, those Reserve, look for those because they're just going to be offered better wine than normal because there's this backlog. There's more to choose from, so they can be pickier in what they choose to take for their reserve wines, and that's just the nature of it. I know you're kind of feeding on someone else's misfortune, but it's got to go somewhere, and people make money. Nobody should lose money selling their wine to Trader Joe's, and they get cash, and it does help their bottom line, and it's good for us because we get better wines at an inexpensive price. So there you go. These Trader Joe's Reserves, and this is the lowest end, are something you should actually be looking to. So I'm going to take one last sip and button this up. So like us where you like your podcast, if you will. Push the button. We have 2 podcast players on the review itself. We've got a couple of things going. We're still doing our blind Chardonnay tasting, and we're going to try to make bubbly with a soda stream. That'll be coming up sometime the next month. We don't have that done yet, but we're working on it. Then I'll have a couple of wines in the next few days. So we still got Easter coming up, and that's it for me. So keep it cheap. Adios, and bye-bye. I'll talk to everybody later.